Hello, everyone, and welcome. Happy 4th of July, Independence Day. My name is, of course, Benjamin Franklin, and with me I have my...
Jolene Goodall, it's me, Jolene. Hello, primates. Happy 4th of July.
Yes. Hello, Jolene.
Hello, Ben. You know, Ben, I think the best way to celebrate is to go over what brought us to today. Yes, all the steps in American history and, of course, the history of chimpanzees.
Absolutely, and we'll see how they parallel across the decades.
Right. And who better to do that than me, Jolene Goodall, self-proclaimed primatologist.
And me, Benjamin Franklin, founding father and the first American? 1920s, chimpanzees were first used for biomedical and behavioral research. That's right. And at the same time, women's suffrage becomes a thing.
Yes, women suffer all the time now. Yes, they do.
But it's mostly been suffering.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
In the 1950s, the Civil Rights Act of 1957 was passed.
Oh, indeed, yes. And the U.S. Air Force and NASA captured 65 wild chimpanzees from Africa to use in research. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very odd. Mm-hmm. They were going to use them in space and research testing, so I guess they were like astro chimps.
They'd already been doing a lot of training over
Yes.
In the savannah.
Yes. Yes, I understand. Yes, they were launching themselves into the air from time to time. Yes. In the 1970s, the Endangered Species Act passed in the USA, and it became illegal to import wild-caught chimpanzees in the country.
That's
Yes.
right. And also during that time, the Vietnam War ended. And,
So that was a good decade. Yes.
Yeah, and I finally was released as a POW and got to come home.
Finally, yes. Yeah. Now, Ben, I believe just like me, you were one of the early founders of the U.S. Yes.
Oh yes, that's right. I'm a founding father. They sometimes call me the first American.
Oh dear. Well, they called me the last American.
There we
Actually, by that I mean they call me last usually. Yes.
Well, we're bookends then.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, here, let me go into the 1990s.
Okay.
If we all remember, was when the rise of the internet brought in a new era of communication.
That's correct. And you know what else happened? Wild chimpanzees were finally listed as endangered species under the USA's Endangered Species Act. Now, the odd part about that is captive chimpanzees were just listed as threatened.
Well, I assume they were being threatened daily.
Yes, well, bullies, in the research.
Yes, exactly. Cyberbullying, because the internet, right?
Because of the internet, right? Yes, yes. It's so sad. You know how chimps are with each other at that age.
Exactly.
Well, we moved on to the 2010s, and specifically in 2010 itself, there were more than 900 chimpanzees still in U.S. laboratories.
That's quite a number, because there were 308 million U.S. residents. Hold on, I'm going to do some quick math here. Let's go.
So that's like 10 people per chimp, I think.
Yeah, one chimp for every 10 people. You get to.
Yes, that sounds about right. Let's
alternate weekends.
Exactly. Now, in 2011,
Yes.
a landmark report by the National Academy of Sciences Institute of Medicine, or NAMBLA, found that scientific research on chimpanzees was really unnecessary.
Yes. It seems like they were just doing it for giggles before that.
I guess so. It's very sad.
And in that same year, 2011, Apple launched Siri, their own virtual assistant software, and the second best assistant I've ever had, next to
Yes.
it.
Oh, okay. Very good. Yes. Well, then we come up to 2014. Now, Project Chimps was founded by animal advocates who fought for years to end the use of chimpanzees in medical research.
And also, there were advocates who were trying to get Apple to introduce Apple Pay and Google to introduce Android Pay. Different sort of activists.
Yes. Well, how can you help with chimps if you can't get them some cash?
Exactly.
Now,
right.
in 2015, a decision by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I think you founded that service, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was constantly struggling over fish and wildlife.
Exactly. Well, they decided to classify all chimpanzees as endangered, finally. So that effectively ended massive experiments in chimpanzees.
Exactly. And also in 2015, 3 of the most popular baby names were Jacob, Emma, and Sophia. So
for chimps? For chimp baby.
For baby, for human and chimpanzee baby.
Oh, okay. Very good. Because I believe we have an Emma. Or that might have been my last dog. I'm not sure.
Really? Oh, yeah. Well, in 1815, Jacob was also a popular name. I knew a ton of Jake the Snakes back then.
You know how the fashions, they just come around. Yeah,
absolutely.
They come back around. Well, in 2016, our first group of 9 female chimps actually came to Project Chimps. They're forever home now.
Excellent. Well, also in that year, 2016, a banner year, the first ever flower was grown in space on the International Space Station. Can you guess what flower it was, Jolene? It begins with a Z. I hope that's not too much.
Begins with a Z. Chrysanthemum.
Yes. Oh, so close.
So close? Oh, okay. Zinnia. Oh, okay. Zinnia. I used to shop there.
Oh, that was great. They had the soft serve machine on every aisle.
Absolutely. Well, as we move forward, getting closer to today, in 2018, Project Chimps opened the Peachtree Habitat. Yes. Lovely. And that's where our chimps like to spend their time.
Absolutely. And also in 2018, and I bet every chimpanzee at Project Chimps remembers where they were during the Super Blue Blood Moon. 3 lunar events coincided in early 2018, producing a rare super blood moon for the first time since 1866. Not only that, the moon was also the closest point to Earth in its orbit, making it a supermoon. I was around for that last one in 1866.
Yes, I figured. I was a wee tot, so I don't really remember. But I do, the chimps talk about the super blood moon all the time. They keep asking when the next one is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're so observant.
Yeah, I missed that first one because I was doing 7 minutes in heaven in the closet with Betsy Ross.
Well, yes. Yeah, well, and why wouldn't you? Oh, dear.
She was showing me her flag design.
I'll bet she was.
All right,
that gal could sure knit, couldn't she?
Oh, man. Wicked with a pair of needles. Meanwhile, in 2020, quite a bit happened, and, one of my old favorites, the drive-in theater. Right, that was, I remember when those came about and then they went away. They made a comeback in 2020 because of what?
Yes.
The pandemic, right?
The pandemic, sure. Because, you either want to get close to somebody in a drive-in or far, far away. Yeah. Well, also in 2020, Project Chimps planted and harvested their very first crops in our own farmland, our own Project Harvest. Over 700 pounds of produce for the chimps was harvested our first season.
That's incredible. Now, are they growing it, or are they're just enjoying it?
They just tend to enjoy it. We tried to get them to hoe, but, it was a no-hoe. Yeah. In 2022, Project Chimps began building a sky bridge. And it was over to the new Cedar Tree Annex habitat. Yeah. I think we're taking them back to those Nassau routes now.
Absolutely. These chimps are going to think they're in Minneapolis.
Oh, maybe. I don't know how many of them have been in Minneapolis before.
All right. But also in 2022, the NASA Artemis 1 moon mission launched, and SpaceX sent 49 Starlink satellites into Earth's orbit aboard a Falcon 9 rocket, allowing for internet access into remote areas. And when we talk about space travel, I want to point out something important.
Yes.
We always talk about man going into space and man going into space. But remember who was there first?
I believe it was chimpanzees and dogs.
Actually, yeah, absolutely. I think you're probably dogs and just inched out chimpanzees a little bit.
Yes. Well, chimps brag a lot, and they say they were there first.
But and I don't even know if humans are on the podium. It might be a guinea pig or something went third. Who knows? Probably. Yes, I would believe that. And speaking of a large sky bridge, that really sounds like a heck of a satellite.
And yet, with all that additional satellite coverage, our chimps still can't get a good signal to stream Animal Planet.
Oh, no.
No.
That's a crime. Well, we must get some Wi-Fi extenders out in the habitat.
Indeed.
Well, and also, in breaking news, 2023 will be the year that Ben Franklin relinquishes his position on the $100 bill to turn it over to a chimpanzee.
Fabulous. I have a couple candidates. And our scouts completed some areas for the chimps to play on a platform in the new Cedar Tree Annex. Yeah. So maybe one of those guys can pose while he's up there.
Absolutely. And the next time you got to drop a hundo somewhere, you're going to have a smiling chimpanzee face on the money, and you're going to be proud.
Exactly. Now, what is it like to sit for an engraving anyway?
Oh, it takes years.
I figured.
Exactly. I got the gout so bad.
Yes. Oh, very good.
I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "Nah, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your old flagpole's leaned a little bit." "And that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat," and I sat down. First time you've been to our little town? I said, "I think it is." He said, "Well, I don't like to brag. We're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware." It got powder burn the night Francis got key. Sat watching it riding, oh say can you see. And it got a bad rip in New Orleans, with Packingham and Jackson tugging at its seams. It almost fell at the Alamo, besides the Texas flag, but she waved on though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville. She got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg. The South wind blew hard in that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp a time or two. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went where she was sent by Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships on the briny foam. And now they've quit waving her back here at home. In her own good land, here she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands, scandalized throughout the land. She's getting threadbare and wearing thin. She's in good shape for the shape she's in. But she's been through the fire before. And I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning. We take her down every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her upright. On second thought, I do like to brag, 'cause I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
Well, Ben, it was so nice perusing American history with you. And I hope you enjoyed the history of chimpanzees.
Oh, I absolutely did. I learned so much, Jolene. You are a font of knowledge.
Yes, well, I've been called a fount of some things, but knowledge too, yes. Well,
Absolutely.
Happy 4th of July, Benjamin.
Happy 4th of July, Jolene.
Happy 4th of July, chimp lovers. We'll
Happy
see you
4th
next
of July.
time.
Happy 4th of July, chimpanzees.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for listening today. We represent the Appalachian Veterans Memorial Park. This can be located in Meeks Park in Blairsville, Georgia. We're currently raising funds to get this thing built We need your help, help of all of our community to support our veterans that have done so much for us. I know why I'm still free. Thank you. Our website is theveteranspark.org, theveteranspark.org. Thank you for your support, and don't forget the chimps.
Troop 1